Here are the top 5 things you will need in order to start a home-based lead generation appointment setting job. 1. You're going to need a good working computer that you know how to use. So it doesn't make sense to own a Mac-oriented machine if you only know how to use a PC. I think it's pretty easy to understand. And so computer must-haves, hardware, software, and or applications that you will or may need. First of all, you're going to want to invest in a headset with a microphone. If you can afford to get a higher caliber of hardware or headset, invest into something that has noise cancellation. Eventually, of course, once you start getting paid. Next is your computer must have Microsoft Office installed or any equivalent, in which it has a word processor, a spreadsheet, and PowerPoint presentation. And then obviously you need to have an active email address in order for you to start sending applications in. And Skype is almost always mandatory to some. I put it as optional because not too many people use Skype. But generally speaking, a lot of people use Skype, especially in the virtual setting where everyone is everywhere else, scattered all over the world, and you need to communicate seamlessly with your employer or your teammates. Number 2, you will need a high-speed internet connection. If you're not residing in the US or Canada and do not have a US number or a Northern American oriented phone number, then you are going to use a telephony system which we call VoIP. And basically it's going to allow for you to call anywhere in the world into the United States or Canada, Australia, wherever and wherever you are in the world, provided of course that you have an internet connection. And so eventually you want to have a backup internet connection. There will be times where your main internet provider may have its downtimes, so this will save your life, and I would really recommend that you invest on this eventually. Number 3, quiet working area. To state the obvious, if you have kids running around the house, you need to figure out a way to situate yourself in an area where kids or your children may not frequent. Perhaps go inside a room, lock it, or find a spot in your home where you can sit down comfortably and be able to work the amount of hours required of you by your employer, and to at least the most have minimal background noise. And so here's a checklist for a conducive work at home environment. 1, a comfortable chair. Just imagine if you're going to be working 6 to 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, 4 weeks in a month. This is almost mandatory. You need to have a way to position yourself comfortably while working. Next will be a desk for your computer or laptop. I mean, come on. You don't want to be moving around your desktop if you're using a desktop. And like what I said a while ago, minimal background noise, and optional access to a pen and paper if you have poor typing speed. Number 4, good communication skills. So, depending on which area you're going to be tapping into, if you're going to be calling into the United States or Canada, then you need to brush up on your English speaking skills. Not only that, but you also have to learn and understand, especially if you're aiming for a lead generation appointment setting job, is to understand what it is. So, by definition, lead generation appointment setting is the action or process of identifying and cultivating potential customers for a business's products or services while setting qualified appointments for their clients with their end customers and dealers. So basically, you bridge the client and the advisor. You are possibly going to do a whole lot of cold calling, meaning you're going to call a lot of people that have never been called before, and you want to brace yourself for that. At the same time, it can always be enjoyable. Number 5, knowing where to find appointment setting jobs or work. If you don't know where to begin, I have a video tutorial guiding you step by step live on how to find jobs from Craigslist. And so there are a lot of opportunists out there, so you always want to take precautionary measures to protect yourself against scam artists. There are a lot of legit work from home jobs there, but there are also scam artists. I for one have been scammed before by someone who pretended to have a business that is operating legitimately, but then, to cut the story short, they did not pay me. So, obviously, you want to get into something that will pay you. So, you always want to be careful when looking for work from home jobs. Take your time to research about the company. Take your time to research about the individual. I mean, you always have Google. Type it in there in the search engine and do a little bit of research. And lastly, make sure that you are going to get paid. You can make or negotiate payment terms. You can even ask that initially you get paid weekly, just so that you get to protect yourself, just so that you can test the integrity of the employer and vice versa. That you let them know that, hey, Mr. Employer, Mr. Boss Man, I would like for you to test me out. I'd like to show you that I'm the best here, and so test me out for a week, pay me the wages for that week, and once we have agreed that we're going to move forward with this, then maybe eventually you want to agree with his terms in regard to you getting paid. And so these are the top 5 things that you will need in order to have a successful online job as a lead generation appointment setter. Now, having all these things do not guarantee that you will find a job. Okay? So, enjoy.